All right, folks, I'm going to call us to order. Pursuant to Governor Baker's order suspending certain provisions of the open meeting law and imposing strict limitations on the number of people that may gather in one place, this meeting of the Berkshire Hills Regional School District School Committee will be conducted both in person and virtual. In-person attendance will be limited to committee members, superintendent, and business administrator. No in-person attendance of members of the public will be permitted at this time. However, the meeting may be accessed remotely through Zoom and or Facebook. Agenda items listed are those reasonably anticipated by the chair, and not all items listed may in fact be discussed. Those items not listed may be brought up for discussion to the extent permitted by law. This meeting is being recorded by CTSB and will be broadcast. The meeting is also being recorded by the committee recorder, other members of the committee, and members of the audience. Minutes will be transcribed and made public and posted to our website at bhrsd.org once approved. So to call this meeting to order, we will do a call of the roll. Ann Hutchinson.
Aye.
Jason St. Peter.
Aye.
Sean Stephen. Bonnie Bon Buffoni.
Aye.
Molly Thomas.
Aye.
William Fields. Diane Singer. Corey Sprague.
Aye.
Rich Mahoney, present. Steve Bannon. Meeting is called to order. We're going to go directly to item number 3, which involves an executive session for negotiations with Unit A. For those watching on Zoom, this meeting will be, this portion of the meeting most likely be conducting an executive session, as is accustomed to dealing with any type of contractual negotiations, particularly labor negotiations. We will go and we'll be in a separate breakout room. Briefly, we anticipate 10 minutes, not more than 15 minutes, and then we'll come back on the regular Zoom. So if you wish to participate in the remainder of the meeting, just simply stay on this Zoom. You don't need to do anything. You'll just see the school committee members go dark briefly. So with that, do I have a motion with regard to our discussions of negotiations with Unit A?
So moved.
Yeah, so the typical motion would be, I'd move we go into executive session for
Executive
negotiations.
session.
Is there a second?
Second.
All right, it's a roll call vote. Ann?
Aye.
Jason?
Aye.
Bonnie?
Aye.
Molly?
Aye.
Corey?
Aye.
And I vote aye. We will now enter executive session.
Okay.
So after a motion made by Molly and seconded by Jason and carried unanimously, we have come out of executive session and we'll open up the floor to discussion on item number 3, and that is the contract negotiations with Unit A. Before we jump into questions from the committee, I guess I'll just give Peter or Ann or Sharon the floor to make any comments they would like.
Yeah, so.
Or just to summarize.
Yeah, no, I mean, we worked really hard with the negotiating team of the school district and the negotiating team of the Berkshire Hills Education Association Unit A to reach this contract. Our large focus was on updating and shifting the salary schedule. So that's the bulk of the work. One of our challenges was almost 60% of our teachers were off step or off our salary schedule. So this new contract and salary schedule gets everybody back on. The other change is folks progress on the salary schedule in 2 ways. One is through credit accumulation or degrees, bachelor's, master's plus 30, and CAGs or master's plus 60. And the other is through experience. The steps previously were referred to in years. Now they're represented by letters. Folks will be placed where they should be by a letter. And that's how we'll go forward. So that was one big piece of it. 2 other things. We added an additional health insurance option, which is the Rate Saver. That's a high deductible plan that's offered by the Berkshire Health Group. There are incentives for people to participate in that for a number of years. And then there's the opportunity for participants to create a health savings account, which can be used towards medical expenses and or used as an investment vehicle. So it's another option in a portfolio of choices. So that's a good thing. We updated the stipends and the compensation for those in Exhibit B. And probably most importantly, we updated the hourly rate for teacher work from $40 an hour to $50 an hour. And I think that's the first time we've changed that in 12 years. So that's appropriate. I think that's the high level summary. I'm happy to respond to any questions or comments from the committee. Previously, the Unit A voted to ratify the contract. If you were to make a motion and vote to ratify the contract, it would be in effect for the next school year, which starts on July 1. And that'd be great, and we appreciate your support. The other thing, Jason, Molly, and we're part of the negotiating team, as was Sharon. I'm not missing anybody, right? Okay.
Does anybody have any questions or comments? Questions for the administration or comments generally? I know Sean was jumping on the meeting. I don't see him, but you can chime in if he has a question. I have one comment before then I would entertain a motion. I think the work that everyone did on the financial aspect of this was really monumentous and good. And I think this is fair. And more importantly, I think we've finally gotten over something we struggled with for the past 2 or 3 contracts where it's very clear and digestible, which I think is more important. I did in the last couple of weeks engage briefly with Steve and Peter about some issues I had about the totally non-financial verbiage, carryover language, things in the contract, which it was too late in the game and wasn't appropriate really to deal with there. So I'm definitely gonna vote for this contract, even though maybe there's things I would change in the language, but I'm gonna try to engage, maybe I'll put something in writing and get it to the negotiation committee, and maybe sometime between now and the time the next contract comes up, we could engage in a round of negotiations with the teachers about the non-financial terms. I just want to make sure that everything that our contract reflects our district's values and our existing policies on that front. But I'm going to totally 100% support the contract tonight. So is there a motion?
I make a motion to accept the contract.
Is there a second?
Second.
Roll call. Ann?
Aye.
Jason? Aye. Sean? I heard a blip. I voted yes. Bonnie?
Aye.
Molly?
Aye.
Bill is not present. I don't believe Diane.
Yes.
Diane's here. Corey?
Aye.
And I vote yes. And Chairman Bannon is absent. So the motion carries unanimously. Contract is approved.
Great, thank you all for that. So what I'd like to do now, if it's okay, Rich, is go back to the May 6 minutes.
Absolutely.
We got a little bit out of order. Does anybody have any questions or things that they noticed in the minutes to be amended? Hearing none, would somebody like to make a motion to approve the minutes?
Motion to approve minutes.
A second. Okay. Again, roll call vote.
Yeah, unfortunately, roll call vote. Ann Hutchinson.
Aye.
Jason St. Peter. Aye. Sean Stephen. Bonnie Bonbafoni.
Aye.
Molly Thomas.
Aye.
William Fields. Diane Singer.
Yes.
Corey Sprague.
Aye.
Rich Mahoney votes yes. Chairman Bannon is absent. The motion carries.
Okay. So the next thing is good news. I'm going to pinch hit for Christy Farina. She's up at the Norman Rockwell Museum where they're doing the prom gala. Sorry,
Gala.
gala,
Yes.
right? Because we can't call it a prom because whatever. So they're doing the gala at the Rockwell, which
A
is
COVID thing or a politically correct thing?
COVID.
Okay.
Yeah. Right. So some of you saw the walk-in on Facebook, and it was really neat. And I'm amazed at how mature and put together our students are. It's amazing to see them come together for that. We also had this morning the award ceremony in the gym instead of the theater, and parents came, or two family members came for each student, and we didn't have outside presenters come in, but that was really amazing too. This year, our community and philanthropies and other things awarded our students $450,000 in scholarships, and that's everything from family foundations to former schools, to the Chang Chavkin Scholars, to Rotary, to the Housatonic Hose Company, and everything in between. So really amazing and wonderful community support and range of work. The graduation, and we can use that term, is Saturday. It looks like the weather's going to be really good. It might be a little warm. We're looking forward to seeing school committee members there and the community in general. We've extended that. People can bring up to 10 family members. And if for some reason there are 11 people in your family, we'll work with you. So reach out to the high school. And that should be good. It might be a good day for sunscreen and a wide brim hat, right? I think it could get a little hot. And we're doing it at the school and not at Tanglewood, which is our normal tradition, because Tanglewood's unavailable for graduations now, and they're not really opening till later in the summer. So that's what's going on at the high school. I'm now going to have Ben say something and then Tim say something. We've been so deep in the work, we've not been sharing as much of the good news as we could. So Ben, hit us with some good news.
Yeah, thank you. I'm really, really excited to be able to share good news with you because I haven't in a while. Thanks, Peter. That's really nice news about the high school. We are so happy to be back at school full time. It really feels like school. Classes are back in full swing. We have everybody back. So many kids have come back even from remote. We really have just a lot of students who have either, immunocompromised selves or families, and it just feels really wonderful to have everybody back and in classes in full swing. Crew has been going great. We've still maintained our 4 days a week of crew sessions, and it just feels really good to have community really pumping the culture around the school. It's been a really good unit all the way through all of the changes all year, whether we've been fully in distance learning or hybrid, and now back, it feels like for years, even though it's only been a few months or even just a month and a half of full-time back at school. Way back, right before we came back full-time for most of the students, we had family conferences, which was great. We kind of used it as a crew connection. The crew leader was able to talk about what had happened in the past year and what students had accomplished, and of course, kind of what to expect going into the following year. We also piloted for a few crews student-led conferences, which we're going to do next year. It's a pretty transformative experience where the kid leads the conversation around where they've come from, how they've grown, and what they've accomplished and what their goals are. Some really fun news just from the middle school. We had a bunch of 7th and 8th graders participate in the Massachusetts Middle School Science Fair, and we had students in 7th and 8th grade place in all the top categories in Massachusetts, which is pretty exciting. Lots of fun for students to really do some really intense just science experiments and then report out on them. That was fun. And our Anti-Defamation League World of Difference program, even though we've been in a pandemic, we had about 15 students commit all the way through to just continue to work on being a peer leader. And we were able to do our thing. We had students in the past month do work with a 1st grade class, a 2nd grade class, a 3rd grade class, and a 4th grade class, where they led activities around anti-bias and understanding about hate and about building community. And we also have had students join at the high school, the student council, to really understand 8th graders moving on for that. We also had our Anti-Defamation League students World of Difference present at the Strive Conference. That's the district attorney runs a conference for 8th grade leaders every year. It was virtual this year. We were able to present our World of Difference program, and it was nice as we had a whole slew of 8th graders also join just as participants. So it felt really good just to do things that were normal, even though this year has not been normal. We got the end of the year coming up, graduation coming up Tuesday on a hot, hot evening, but if everything goes right, there'll be no rain for my 10th year in a row. And especially because this is outside, thank you, high school, for leading the way. We'll get to see our 8th graders off from this really odd year. I'm really excited that we can have people back. And then the following week, right at the end, we get to have our traditional team awards where we gather the kids with the staff and they give appreciations out. And the last day of school, we're gonna have our stepping up from our 5th grade kids meet their 6th grade teachers, 6th grade kids meet all the 7th grade teachers. And we have the 5th grade team revisit with the 7th graders who are moving up with the same teachers to 8th grade, but the 5th grade teachers get to actually have some fun with kids they haven't seen in a couple of years. So good news from the middle school.
Great. And Tim, do you have some things you want to share from Muddy Brook?
Yeah, sure. Hi, good evening, everybody. I guess the first piece of good news I'd like to share is at the elementary school, it's been about 3 weeks since we've had a positive COVID case or a potential exposure, and we have not had to quarantine any classes or send home any classes in quite a period of time now. So we're real happy about that. And with the school year winding down, classes are spending a lot of time outdoors, enjoying the weather, the grounds around the school. Most of our classes can be seen taking their daily snack time outside. A number of classes are taking trips to the Project Sprout Garden. A few of our kindergarten classes have done some planting over there. We're having daily outdoor PE classes and trips to outdoor learning areas around the school. Our specialists are planning a specialist field day on the 11th of June, which will be really fun way to get all the kids out there and have them do some fun activities, kind of in the way we would do a field day in a typical year. One thing that's been a bit of a downer with all the outdoor time is that ticks are really bad this year. So we've had to do some pretty extensive tick checks and a number of other things when the kids come back into the building. Additionally, our 4th grade students, our 4th grade faculty are planning for the end of the school year recognition and a celebration of our 4th grade students moving up to the middle school. We're planning the somewhat traditional drumming workshop that we have for 4th graders at the end of the year, with individual classes taking the workshop led by Otha Day. There'll be some all-school participation when we will probably have the first chance that we've had all year to get together outside and recognize and celebrate our departing 4th graders who are going over to the middle school. Unfortunately, recognitions with parent participation on school grounds, we haven't figured out a way to do that yet, but there will be some recognitions that individual 4th grade classrooms are conducting virtually with parent participation. Just some adult news as well regarding staffing, planning, and transition to the next school year. At this time, we project we're really close to being fully staffed for the next school year, with the exception of 1 para position. That means we've hired 3 classroom teaching positions and 1 SPED teaching position. And these are due to retirements and moves that we've had this year. We've got some time planned towards the very end of the year for our new principal, Kate Retzel, to come in and spend some time with the staff and with me and Nan, and then some additional transition time built in beyond that. And then all work for all of our end of the year tasks, report cards, placements, everything's on target right now, and we're just moving along real well to what I think will be a very nice close of the school year. One shout out I'd like to give before I close. I want to thank our 3rd grade teacher, Molly Cosell. Some might know Molly. She is a teacher at our school, of course, but she is also a professional photographer. And she was one of our faculty members who expressed a while back that they really regret not having group pictures of their classes this year. It's something that we look forward to every year, a memento of our time together with our students. And unfortunately, due to COVID at the beginning of this year, we couldn't take group shots. So again, Molly, being a professional photographer, donated her services. And yesterday we cycled all of our classes through a kind of a staged outdoor photography area. And we were able to get a group shot of all of our students that will be a gift, a memento for parents and students to have with them for the end of this year. So thank you very much, Molly, for your lending your talents to this nice way to end the year. And I also want to thank our friends at Staples in Great Barrington who are going to be printing the photos for us at a greatly reduced cost and really helping us to celebrate the end of the year. And that's about it. That's what I've got, Peter. Thank you.
Great, thank you, Tim. Much appreciated. So let me just move down a couple quick things. Vacancies, both Tim and Ben mentioned that in passing. We have a small number of positions that we're in the process of interviewing for, and we hope to fill them shortly. We did, I think, a good job of getting ahead of the interviews. It's just common sense, right? The sooner you interview people, the greater the likelihood that you get high quality folks, and we're chugging away on that. Some positions, and this has not happened in a long time, we've really expanded our reach, including John did some nice work with an adjoining system in New York State, and for one position at the high school, we had 30+ applications, wow. And that hasn't happened in really a long time. So that's exciting. So we're working through those. Committees are doing interviews, and that's great. We had a really big response to the summer plan survey, maybe 220+ families representing something like 400 kids expressed interest. John and Tom and Ryan are working through that very carefully and trying to break people up into potential classes. We'll be reaching out in the coming week, probably, with updates on that. And we will run some small groups, but we don't want to run groups of 2 people, right? So there'll be some collapsing and some talking and some other stuff, but really nice interest from families, and I think we'll put together something that's really meaningful and meets the needs. And a lot of different choices, things as short as a week or 2 to things 5+ weeks. That's great. Questions on that?
Yeah, has the information gone out in Spanish?
It has, and we've been working, we do a lot of work with our strongest connection to the Spanish speaking community are the folks over at BIM, and we've done a lot of work with them. We may do some additional phone calls and some other things. I'm speaking with Alana and John tomorrow about different ways we can do some outreach, but it has. The other thing is, and I think all our folks who speak a range of languages know this. If you go to something through our website, Google Translate's built in, and we've done a good job of sharing that with people. So we try to translate whatever we can, and then additionally, if we miss something, that's an option, and families are aware of that.
And what about the programs that are going on at Berkshire South? Are we coordinating with them?
We're talking with them. I don't know the most granular details on it, but at our next meeting, I'll share an update on that.
Will there be a chance for families to opt in at a later date, depending on?
At some point, it'll make us nuts. But if somebody didn't fill out a survey, didn't express an interest, they should, like, the survey's still up, we're still accepting responses. And I think maybe when we reach out to people and say, here are the things we're offering, it's highly likely that there'll be seats available in each of those things we're offering. So at that point, somebody could do it. But our hope was that if people were interested in doing something, they would have completed the survey.
Right, my sense, and I could have been the only one thinking this way, was just that the survey was more to gauge interest, to kind of figure out planning, to inform administration of what kinds of paths we should be following, and not an actual sign up. So.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's a little of both, and we'll work that, and we'll go back out to people. If 400 students expressed interest and all of a sudden there are 800 students who want to participate, we'll be in a little bit of a pickle, but can we mess around with 100 more? Certainly.
It might make sense to go out with another communication to families to say very explicitly, if you are interested in doing this, fill out this survey.
Yeah, okay. That's good feedback. So that's what's going on there. Any other questions or comments?
That sounds great.
Yeah, no, I think that'll be good. So the next one on the agenda is the overview of the early dismissal plan / potential vote. So since we last met, I held 2 community forums and a staff forum, and quite explicitly, I'm not going to ask you to vote on it. And we're going to, I guess, revert or just continue with the plan we'd previously done. Which is I'm not going to request that we implement the early dismissal plan. There were 3 main reasons that were shared, and I don't know that I agree with all of them, but I did hear them, right? So one of the main reasons was the impact on learning time and quality of learning, particularly coming off a COVID year. So people have a real concern that investing so much in professional development would take away from student learning time, and they just feel strongly about that. So I heard that. The other one I heard was that this early Wednesday would be a burden to parents. Again, I don't totally understand it because we are offering programming for everyone and busing, but many parents expressed that it would be a burden. So I get that. And the third one was this broader notion that it would be inequitable. It's on the back burner. I'm not proposing we vote on it. What I am recommending is we use our previous approach, which is the 2 professional development days before school starts, 2 in the year, 1 on election day and 1 in March. And then a number of half days during the year. The one slight change I'm going to recommend is that instead of holding those professional development half days on Fridays, which pretty clearly leads to very low student attendance, like double. All right, and that I'm going to have those actually happen on Wednesdays. It's the same amount of time. The downside is some people like to take the half day off on Friday and the morning off on Friday and make a long weekend of it and go to the Cape or go skiing. And I'm sorry that I'm messing up people who do that. But if we care deeply about student learning time, and that's what I heard we cared about, then that's an okay trade-off. So from a school committee perspective, you approved a calendar with a start and end date, but you didn't approve a calendar with professional development days and half days. So I'd like to propose we do that, what we did in the past with the slight shift from Fridays to Wednesdays.
You said there was a professional development day in March that they're going to see.
Yeah, it's not listed on the contract, on the calendar. There's an error. What I did was I took the days from the days roughly from the previous one. It could either be the 25th of March or the 18th of March. If we followed this year's calendar, which we didn't use, it would be the 18th of March instead of the 25th of March. And it doesn't matter much to me which one of those it is.
Do you want us to approve one of them? You want on the calendar that we're going to approve tonight?
Yeah, so let's
Pick one and,
let's do the 18th of March, and I'll share a updated calendar tomorrow. I think that lines up with our feeder schools, Richmond and Farmington River.
So you'd be looking for a motion to approve the calendar as amended to include professional development day on March 18th.
Correct.
Is there a motion?
I make a motion to approve the calendar with the amendment of the professional development day on March 18th.
Second.
Any debate, discussion, or comment? All right, we'll vote. Ann Hutchinson,
Aye.
Jason St. Peter. Aye. Sean Steven. Bonnie Von Buffoni, Molly Thomas,
Aye.
William Fields, Diane Singer,
yes,
Corey Sprague,
Aye.
Rich Devoni votes yes, and Chair Steve Bannon is not present. Motion carries.
Great, well, thank you on that. The
We're
only,
gonna revise one up on the website though. So
the revised one will be on the website tomorrow so that parents and families can plan and do what you need to do. The COVID-19 update, Tim spoke to this a little bit. Things are really moving in a very good direction, thank goodness. The countywide numbers are down dramatically and keep going down. I think as a county, we're likely to be green in the next few days. It's interesting. I can't really figure out who's doing that.
and they appear to be muted too.
Or no. So good news about the COVID stuff. The nurses continue to do a really exceptional job there, and families are doing good work. There'll be a few more clinics at the school, and then I think it's largely going to be based in the testing center in between the police station and Aroma, the Indian restaurant in downtown Great Barrington. And I think the next thing will happen will be we'll get word from the CDC that students younger than 12 or children younger than 12 will be eligible, and then the clinics in the schools might start up again. But I know lots of people in the 12 and up group have been getting vaccinated, and that's great news. So I'm really happy about that. I think that's really it from me, and Rich, I'll hand it back to you for the various subcommittee reports and then a quick check-in on the personnel report.
Okay, do you want to do the discussion on the SOI now?
Oh, I'm sorry, how did I miss that?
We skipped ahead.
Yeah, let's do that first.
Yeah.
Thanks, really special thanks to the school committee for their feedback on the SOI. I took that all, both what you shared in the meeting and what several of you sent to me individually, and worked very closely with Steve Soul to incorporate it all. I then also had a conversation with Diane Sullivan of the MSBA. The big questions I have were, could we identify ourselves as a priority one, right? So the debate was, is our building dangerous to seriously jeopardizing the health and safety of school children where no alternative exists? Well, she shared we could check whatever box we want based on her sense of the school, and she's visited the school. She did not think that made a lot of sense. If they do another visit and want to change it to priority one, they would do that, so there's flexibility there. So in my revision, I did not put that in. The other one that we entertained was the number 3, the prevention of the loss of accreditation. So that's really reserved for the, I'm sorry, there's so many acronyms. The NEASC study, the New England Association of Schools and Colleges. We've not participated in that in a long time by vote of the school committee. We did our own self-study, and arguably we're doing lots of work connected to our grants, which fill that need. And it was a very expensive endeavor to house outside people in hotels to come and give us quick feedback on what we likely know more about. So checking that box is really reserved for that. We did mention that we had gotten some feedback in our Chapter 74 comprehensive program reviews, the vocational programs around our spaces. And then the early childhood program falls under a different accreditation body, the NIAC, the, I don't know, Association of Young Children, Education of Young Children, again, acronym soup. So I did not check that box. The final feedback we got, and we'll be working on this after graduation, is they are interested, and it really does favor us to submit a video of the school, and to do that in a high quality way with a mic'd narrator, particularly somebody who's distinct from the camera person. So Christy, Steve, Sol, and I have been talking about it. We've talked some to Paul Cakeley about it. We're starting to write a script and a storyboard, and we'll hit all the things. Like, in many ways, it's a wonderful school, and the science labs aren't adequate, and the HVAC system's crummy, and the windows are single pane. All the things that are in the SOI we'll document in the video with maybe a hip soundtrack and great titles to catch their eye. And we'll submit that as a supplementary document. The only other thing that came up, and I chose not to include it in the SOI, but I would likely include it in a cover letter with the SOI, is in light of the recent accident at the high school, I want to reference the driveway and that challenge. It doesn't quite fit into the SOI because it's a non-reimbursable expense, but it is an important part of a broader project. So my intent, if it's okay with the committee, is to include that in the broader cover letter, where I detail all the work we did with the Regional Agreement Amendment Committee, the sort of current state of the situation in South County, the shift in population, the shift in how budgets have been graciously supported many years in a row, the additional tax revenue from just development and the increase of property values, but also particularly in Great Barrington, the marijuana additional funds, and then the several of the communities have set up stabilization or dedicated funds in anticipation of a future capital project. So that's a mouthful, but that's where we are. As always, I'm open to doing another set of revisions as needed. I think we caught all the typos. I think folks who had the wherewithal to read it again, it's vastly improved. The tone's better. The case is more compelling. It's more organized. So if somebody would like to make a motion to submit the SOI, that would be great. There's a very formal motion that's part of the MSBA process.
I would recognize Corey.
Yes, I will read the resolution. Having convened in an open meeting on June 3rd, 2021, prior to the SOI submission closing date, the School Committee of Berkshire Hills Regional School District of Stockbridge, Massachusetts, in accordance with its charter, bylaws, and ordinances, has voted to authorize the superintendent to submit to the Massachusetts School Building Authority the statement of interest form dated June 1st, 2021 for the Monument Mountain Regional High School located at 600 Stockbridge Road, Great Barrington, Massachusetts, which describes and explains the following deficiencies and the priority categories for which an application may be submitted to the Massachusetts School Building Authority in the future. Priority 1, health and safety of students. Priority 5, energy constraints. Priority 7, full range of educational programs. And hereby further specifically acknowledges that by submitting the statement of interest form, the Massachusetts School Building Authority in no way guarantees the acceptance or the approval of an application, the awarding of a grant, or any other funding commitment from the Massachusetts School Building Authority, or commits the city, town, regional school district to filing an application for funding with the Massachusetts School Building Authority.
There's a second.
Second.
Sorry, I realized the motion I gave you has one little error in it. We're not doing, based on what I just shared, we're not doing priority 1. We're just doing 5 and 7. So I think the vote should be amended to take out priority 1.
Or motion to amend.
I'd like to make a motion to remove priority 1.
Second,
Second,
just on the amendment.
on the amendment.
Ann Hutchinson,
Aye.
Jason St. Peter,
Aye.
Sean Steven, Bonnie Bonbafoni,
Aye.
Molly Thomas,
Aye.
William Fields, Diane Singer,
yes,
Corey Sprague,
Aye.
Rich Mahoney votes yes, and Chairman Steve Brandon is not present. Any discussion at this time on the motion in chief as amended? I will just add that both Chairman Bannon and William Fields are not here tonight due to pressing personal issues, but both have conveyed their, had they been able to be here, their intent to have vote to support the SOI. So with that, we'll go to a roll call vote. Once again, Ann Hutchinson,
Aye.
Jason St. Peter,
Aye.
Sean Steven, Bonnie Bonbafoni, Molly Thomas,
Aye.
William Fields, Diane Singer,
yes,
Corey Sprague,
Aye.
Rich Mahoney votes yes, and Chairman Barron is absent. The motion carries unanimously.
Great, thank you, and sorry that I didn't amend the motion before I gave it to you.
Send me up.
The other thing, put some pictures with it, right? You could take some pictures.
Yeah, pictures too, the video and pictures.
We have students involved with the video.
Yes, so,
Students.
well, I
They're
mean,
the best, but I feel like that would be a great project for them to get involved with.
what I'd really like to do, and I'm thinking out loud a little bit, but when I started writing the script for the video and sort of imagined a storyboard in my mind, I would love for a different student to talk about every space. So somebody who really cares about science, talk about why the labs are inadequate. Somebody who really cares about the automotive work, talk about why the shop's inadequate, and on and on. So in the course of this, if there are 16 points we might want to make, that there's 16 students and it's bookended by Christy and I, and maybe we'll grab a school committee member to make a cameo.
That's great. I got a good feeling.
Yeah, me too. Fingers crossed, right? The whatever, 8th time's the charm.
I think that concludes everything in the superintendent's report, unless you have something else, Peter.
No, I'm good, and I think we go on to the subcommittee reports.
Yep. Rather than do a roll call or kind of go through the whole list, does any committee chairs have anything to report?
Superintendent's eval, subcommittee met, and we hope to have a report for you at the next school board meeting.
Great. Okay, seeing no other reports from any other chairs, we will do the personnel report. I know we've already done a little discussion about the vacancy thing, but Peter, do you or Sharon have anything?
Yeah, I think the only one on this one that's new is Wendy Scott's retiring. She's been a long time paraprofessional. We really appreciate her work in the district. Her daughter is also graduating this year. We'll miss Wendy quite a bit. So I'd like to thank her for all her hard work. The rest of the personnel report are work connected to the Innovative Pathways Grant at the high school, and then two that are tied to Project Connection.
Business operations, I think we've probably covered that in the contract, but was there anything else?
I don't think so. I mean, it's the end of year, so we're finalizing accounts, starting to transfer from account to account. We'll come back to you at a future meeting about that, but the district's in very good shape financially.
Sharon, did you have anything to add or to request?
No.
Okay. Education news. Line item anywhere, do we? But
No, I mean, the people are learning and having fun, and the seniors are ready to go. I'd just like to appreciate how hard everybody worked this year, and it'll be fun to start again next year and to catch our breath a little bit.
old or new business? I think we'll move to public comment then. If any members of the public has anything they'd like to say or questions they'd like to ask, they can either use the hand raising mechanism on Zoom, or at this point, just turn on your volume and go ahead and shoot.
There was a hand up
I
previously.
did see that and I don't see it anymore.
Yeah.
Just give it a couple seconds for people to catch up in case they were waiting.
And if you're trying to click the thing, it's in the bottom of the Zoom box under reactions. And if you click on reactions, there's a little golden hand and you can raise your hand.
I don't see anybody. Peter, how about you?
I do not see anybody. And what I will do, several parents and families participated in the forums on the early Wednesday release. So thank you, people, for doing that. You convinced me and I pulled my proposal, and that's democracy in action. So thank you for doing that.
All right, so we'll close public comment, and the meeting will be adjourned absent objection. Seeing none, we stand adjourned.